Talks. My name is Rian.
I'm James the Great.
Hey, I'm Zach, and I'm wearing makeup.
Yes, he is. And well, thank you very much for watching this episode. It's episode number
3.
We're on number 3.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, what are we guys going to talk about this week?
Well, as we all know, finally the ongoing issue at Marawi has already ended.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Shout out to all the soldiers. All respect to you all, guys.
Mad props.
Yes, and everybody's like, we are all excited for the rehabilitation. You know,
Of Marawi City.
And praise God for your heart of
Yes,
service.
absolutely.
Yes.
Mhm. So, what kind of issue do we have though with this? I mean, you said earlier this is actually a victory for the Philippines, right?
Yes, absolutely. But the thing is, the main issue, I guess, is what's the reason behind these people? You know, why are there certain groups of people in this country, like our fellow Filipinos, you know, that who group themselves and just come up with some ridiculous ideas like this, to terrorize the country, create chaos and all that.
Okay, so remind me again though, because I don't really have a TV and I don't really watch a
Alright.
lot of news.
Alright.
So, like, how did this issue happen? Like, I know there were like bombings and threats, and
Yes.
a lot of people died in Marawi. But like, how did it start? I mean, who is the Mauta group?
Well, Mamauti Group is like a group of terrorists that is inspired by ISIS, basically.
Are they inspired by ISIS? I think they just like they want to be ISIS.
Yeah, they're inspired by ISIS.
Yeah. So
Wannabe ISIS. When you say wannabe ISIS, is it like, do they have like a certain platform that they do? Do they have like, what's actually their purpose to be doing these things?
well, first of all, as we all know what ISIS is capable of doing and what they are doing,
Yeah.
terrorizing the entire world, right? So these people, they're like holding the flags of ISIS, claiming that they're part of it, while the other group, the original ISIS, they don't even recognize themselves.
Yeah, they don't acknowledge Mamauti Group.
Right, absolutely.
I see. Alright, so Mauta group is sort of like the NPAs, is that right?
Well, NPA is totally different because
Okay.
that's gonna be a totally different topic. But we could probably say Maute is compared to Abu Sayyaf. Abu Sayyaf.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so I get the picture now. But, well, my bigger question here, though, is, like, what drives these kinds of people to create these kinds of, can I say, crimes or murders?
Yeah.
Or what drives this kind of purpose to be, just putting, like, Filipinos apart from each other? If we know we are Filipinos and we are living in the Philippines, and
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I mean, there's got to be a reason behind this, why such people would create some groups and just terrorize the entire country.
Well, you know what, guys? My take on this is that I think we're growing up. That there's a big influence of the Abu Sayyafs, the MILFs, with them. We're growing up. They want to be like this, the terrorist group. I think they feel entitled. That they feel like they own Mindanao, basically. They own Marawi City.
I see. So this have something to do. I mean, I know people of the Mindanao areas have different religions too,
Yeah,
right? I mean, the Philippines have different sectors of religions. So does it have to do something with that also?
Well, it may have something to do a little bit about it, the separation of the different religions. But, I mean, marami ng religion dito sa country, basically.
Right.
Diba? It's not just the Muslims and the Catholics. There are Buddhists here, and then there's the different other sectors.
Yes.
Okay. But I guess ang pinaka issue dito is I don't know about this thing. I don't know if you noticed, but it's just so sad to admit that we Filipinos have this heart of rebellion.
Heart of rebellion. You know what? That word is so interesting because I think the root of that heart of rebellion is us being colonized over and over and over again by different
that's
countries.
exactly.
We form this mentality that hindi dapat tayo magpapalamang dyan sa mga dahil.
Right. I totally agree with that because I mean, I think one of the major things that, well, I'm sorry to say this, but it is true, Filipinos lack discipline.
Right.
In terms of like authority or rules or just small policies and guidelines, we tend to not like follow
Sobrang
them.
tinatamaan.
I
Kuya
think
Guard's always so.
no, I think it's basically because of like the fact that like what James had said,
Right.
that we had this kind of culture that we carried on like from generation to generation.
Yeah.
Na ayaw natin magpatalo, na we always have a say on something, or
Yeah.
we have an opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's okay to have an opinion over so many things,
Right.
but I mean, I do believe that authorities are actually made to become there because we have to follow them. Like,
Right.
regardless, I mean,
Yes.
yes, it's true that some of our leaders wouldn't be as, like,
Well,
consistent as they are, but...
That's one of the unfortunate things that we have to
Mhm.
accept in this country as part of our reality. But it's the same thing. They there is a reason why they are.
There
they're
is
in
a
that
reason.
position.
Basically, the authority is the authority. They're there
Right.
for a purpose. They're there to like promote law and order. Right?
And they were there for a reason. I
Right.
believe that God placed them there
Yes.
for an
It's actually
actual
there.
reason.
It's actually God's design.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it's written on the Bible. So
Yeah, like following the authority because God
Yes.
destined them to be the
Yes.
authority.
absolutely. So they were anointed to
Mhm.
create laws,
Mhm.
and so that the people itself would have to follow them.
Yeah.
That's it's God's design. It's basically God's design.
Yeah, so coming to know, like, I mean, we don't actually know what the real purpose of the Mautes are,
Yes.
but we know that they have actually done so much for this country to hurt the country.
Yeah.
But I feel that it's not only them who has done so much to hurt the country. It's, I think, everybody in the Philippines who
Yeah, I
has
think so too.
created like a huge drift with each
Yeah.
other, and I think it's caused us to be separated from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own fair share of basically kung ano tayo ngayon.
Right.
And everyone, guys, maybe you don't realize this, but it happens. It happens at home. It happens at the office.
Right.
It happens with our friends.
Right, that's true.
Unconsciously, we're doing it without us even knowing that we're doing it.
So
Yeah.
So, alam mo, ang fear ko dito, now it's a celebration, it's a season of celebration of this victory.
Yeah.
But again, I guess until we all Filipinos can get our act together, we are just gonna go into cycle. There's gonna be another Maute
Yeah.
in the
Right.
future.
Yeah.
Diba? Who could probably create more chaos.
Yeah.
Or it.
It can be worse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it's also a chain reaction because, like, the more we watch things on TV,
absolutely, yeah.
the
that's
more
another thing.
the more people become aware that these things can happen, and the
Right.
more people will have more opinions about
Yeah,
certain things.
right.
And so we kind of have this sort of mentality of our own. And what basically happens is, yes, it's okay, as I mentioned, it's okay to have different perspectives and different opinions on certain things. But these kinds of things, we have to put it into good use, right? So
Right.
if we have different kind of opinions, we just have to respect each other of our own opinions and not just clash with each other. Because I think that's one thing that we do. It's like, if I don't like what you think, you're not a part of my group.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So it kind of sets up like a huge barrier, demarcation
Huge
between
barrier.
people, right?
You know what, guys? Come to think of it, that makes a lot of sense because I do that all the time.
Oh, you're
so
guilty
he's
of it?
like,
I will admit. Yeah, I'll admit.
are
yes,
we
I-
kind of like on your
Oh, no,
team?
no.
No, is it
You know
no?
So here's my question.
Mhm.
What's the solution?
Well, go ahead, Zach.
What should we do?
No, seriously, like I said earlier, until we get our act together, we're not gonna progress. So I guess the main ingredient for this, or the one thing that we can absolutely do, and it's very easy to do actually,
Okay.
is just to love people, to love the person next to
Next to
you,
you.
to love your enemy,
Mhm.
because madali na magmahal kung kung kauri natin or
Right.
kabati natin, kaibigan
Yeah.
natin, di ba?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But there's more reward to it if we try to love yung mga taong hindi natin gusto. If we try to love those people who's going up against us.
Yeah.
Like sa office, if somebody is trying, you know, if somebody's saying bad things about you, or if alam mo naman tayo, may crab mentality, no? So
Yeah, yeah.
mga humihila sa atin pababa. If we just try to love these people, I think it's gonna be a chain reaction. You know, it's gonna influence the rest of the people in the country,
All right.
and it's gonna be passed on from generation to generation.
You know what? I totally agree. Especially you mentioned the crab mentality.
Right.
I mean, we have this crab mentality wherein hihilahin natin pababa isa't isa. Instead of doing that, why don't we create a culture? Let's start with our families, with our own families, to avoid the crab mentality. You know, change it with the loving culture, basically.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
I really believe that it starts with the family. I mean, if your family can influence other families, imagine the chain reaction that it can do to us.
And well, I actually was reminded of this verse in the Bible that says that we should love one another and bear each other,
Yeah.
and not look into ourselves as better than the other person.
Wow.
So it kind of
Yeah.
like creates this respect for other people.
It's like being selfless.
Yeah,
Being selfless. Wow, that's a
it's more of
Wonderful
like I mean it's a ripple effect.
Right.
It's like if you love the other people around you, or if you treat them as if they're your brothers and sisters, which they actually are, but you know, if you treat them
Yeah.
like maybe literally as your blood brothers and sisters,
Yes.
we wouldn't feel like hating
Yeah.
on them,
Yeah.
or you know,
Agreed.
disrespecting their opinions, or I mean, it's just kind of weird that we are actually accepting like people from different countries. Like we accept people
Yeah.
coming from America. We
So
accept people
true.
coming from
That's so
you know, when we accept religions,
Yeah.
right? We have like that kind of equality and tolerance for these kinds of things. But why can't we just accept each other as Filipinos?
It's a good thing that you brought that up, because it's like a slap in the face for us Filipinos. Kasi yun nga, parang we are so good in showing other
just showing love right
Hospitality.
now.
nations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are known as the most hospitable people in the world, and yet we cannot accept our fellow Filipinos.
Yeah.
Diba? Yun lang simple na pagka hindi mo kilala, you don't want them to invite this person inside your home and
Yeah.
have them eat your food. Hindi ba? Una pag isipan mo kagad, no, scammer ata ito, pagnanakawan
Pero
ata.
pag Amerikano na yung
Yeah.
humarap sa'yo,
Right.
wala, sige.
Is it because of the dough? Is it because of the green dough? I don't think so, but
Well, it might be, but you know what? Yun yan, babalik tayo dun sa we really need to change that culture, the culture of of the crab mentality, of hating each other. Instead, just love each other.
And I think the best resolution for this is to actually start within ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
I think technically we all have our own wars with ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But I think we have to start the discipline with ourselves. We need to respect ourselves.
and
We
love
need
ourselves.
to love ourselves, and we need to, of course, know who God is.
Love
Because
ourselves.
the only way for us to know what real love
Yeah.
is if when we have that love of God, like if we know what
Right.
kind of love
Agreed.
He can give you.
Agreed.
And so if you have that feeling, it kind of overflows
It
towards
overflows, yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's just this satisfying feeling that you can't it's inexplicable,
Can-
like
can we-
inexplainable.
Can we try to define what love is? Because nowadays I think love is so overrated. But if we say love, it's
Overrated.
all romantic.
I think love has a lot of meanings to each
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
So, but what is love?
I think if we are to define love, we have to go back to the roots of it,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically, getting the energy of love coming from God and passing on through the other people.
Yeah.
Just like what I told earlier, diba? Parang there's no love kapag ka ang mahal mo lang is yung taong kabati mo,
Okay.
diba? Just like what Jesus did, alam mo yun, sino ba tayo tapos bumaba siya dito?
Mm-hmm.
Technically hindi man niya dapat gawin yun eh.
Yeah.
Pero he died on the cross just for our sins.
Okay, so you meaning it's unconditional.
It's
It's
unconditional.
unconditional.
Okay.
If you say it
Yes.
theologically, though, sorry, but yeah, if you say it theologically, it's called the agape
Agape
kind
love.
of love,
Okay.
which is unconditional. And I mean, if I will put it this way, if you're a dad, right, being God. Like if you're a dad and you have an only son who's just holy, who's just pure and everything, and you actually sacrifice him to save everybody. Sacrifice him and put him in a test.
Right.
Who, you place him in an area where he will feel all the pain that everybody has or can feel.
That's the meaning of true love right there.
So that's like a real sacrifice, and it's a true sacrifice. And if you know what this kind of sacrifice means, it would make you feel like
selfless.
It's being selfless, and we can't really do anything to give that kind of love back towards God, but God wants us to love each other, and that's the major point that we have to do, is to love one another.
Right. And actually, if we are about to learn this thing, if we are just about to learn how to love people, I think we can already find true joy and peace and comfort in ourselves. Diba? Regardless kung ano pang problema dumadating sa atin, but if we know that we can, if we just know how to love other people, there's, alam mo yun, wala na dapat magiging conflict technically.
That's true, but you know what, guys? It's harder to do. I mean, it's easy to say, but it's harder to do. I mean, I think all of us will agree that it's hard to love our enemy, but you know what? I think the only thing that we should do is to do the first step. I mean, to try to love someone that you don't like.
Yeah.
Basically, just do the first step.
And there's
just pay it forward.
Yeah, and there's always like the grace of God.
Yeah.
Just you have this feeling of patience and understanding and more wisdom when you face other people.
Yeah.
It's not anymore like if someone takes an offense over me, I would retaliate towards that person. It's more of if that person, I mean, we can't control what other people can do, but we can control what we can, what our actions will be towards them.
Right.
So we have that self-control, we have that discipline, we have respect. We have understanding and patience, and all of these things you can learn by just knowing who God is, and by just reading His Word and basking through His Word, and it makes you become more of that bigger person. So whenever you come across certain conflicts, you already know what to do. And you just have that peace in you, right? Because sometimes if you get mad at someone for doing something bad towards you, it's kind of heavy, right?
Heavy,
it's really heavy. So you just kind of let it go.
Right.
And I think we have to start within ourselves. So we have to take the first step.
Yeah, take the first step, because if you take the first step, the second, the third time that we're going to do it, it's so much easier.
Yeah, and you know what's more important in this is that if we do take that first step, it creates a ripple effect to everybody.
Yeah.
It's like when you showed love to someone just by giving maybe like a sort of smile towards that person. You don't know how much effect that smile could be for that person, that person can spread it from one person to another to another.
Or you could actually save a life.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. So I guess this is one way for us to try to understand that. I mean, going back to the Mautes, I know that they probably have a purpose in what they're doing. I mean, thinking about it further though, I know that God allowed this to happen for a reason, right?
Absolutely.
And at some point, of course, on the positive note, these kinds of things that happen in our country, it actually makes us closer together because we actually are trying to, rebuild the nation. And I think that's one way for God to show how much He loves us, is because He's trying to renovate this nation.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right? So He's putting like all of these, He's allowing all of these things to happen to build like a redirection for everybody.
Yeah, and for those na yung nag-aalala na, I mean, parang ever since we started rebuilding and we started this war on drugs, although it's a different topic, but parang everything is so chaotic, diba? Parang, but we are renovating a nation. It's like renovating a home. Diba? The day one is always the demo day.
Right.
The demo day wherein you have to destroy everything that's rotten or everything needs to be replaced, and then one by one you go piece by piece. Everything is gonna get repaired. It's gonna be redone, repainted.
It will fall in place.
Exactly.
Until
It's gonna be the perfect home.
You just need to be patient.
Perfect home for everybody. Right?
Absolutely. So for those who are in Marawi, guys, we are so so excited for you guys. We
Yes.
just saw yung temporary shelter. Kudos to the government, by the
Oh
way.
yeah,
Yes.
man, it looks good.
I know.
Diba?
We have
Sobrang
one of those.
ganda. Sobrang ganda. It has
Even the
its own
bathroom.
comfort room.
Yeah.
Meron pa, may heater, bro. Ako nga wala akong heater
I
sa
know,
bahay
I
ko
know.
eh.
There's
Yeah.
later.
Diba? So, pwede pa
See.
makita natin.
So that's just like one way of God to show how much His grace is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Yes, we are sorry for those who have who you have lost, and
yes, absolutely.
but we rejoice with
Yeah.
this victory that we have right now for the Philippines.
Yes.
And I know that this particular incident will just make us learn and be more loving and caring of
Yes.
each other
Yes.
also.
Instead of being yung masyado tayong takot na baka mangyari ulit ito, so
Yeah.
we are being defensive, why don't we just do what's positive? Let's
Yeah.
try to love everybody else
Yeah.
para wala nang gulong ganito, di ba?
And promote
And let's be open about changes, guys. I mean, let's be
that's
open
true.
about learning. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the Lord is telling us something here. He wants us to learn something.
Right,
So
absolutely.
let's make our minds open.
Yes.
Great.
Yay! So, well, we hope you guys like this topic that we had.
Yes.
If you have any ideas or thoughts, comments, suggestions,
Suggestions.
please do
Yeah.
write it on the comment box.
Right there below.
Below.
And we'll put all of our information in the description box too. If you haven't watched all our other videos, you can check out our channel as
Interesting
well.
videos, guys.
Mhm.
You should watch it.
Yes.
And don't forget to click on the subscribe button
Yes.
and also the notification button so we can update you or
Yes.
you get notified as soon as we get our new videos. And also don't forget to also like the videos, give it a
Thumbs up.
Yes. And another thing, guys, if you have anything, any ideas that you guys want us to talk about, then
Feel free to
please-
share.
Yes, send us a message. We're gonna post on our email at the description below, and we'll go from there.
And guys, don't forget to share it to your friends. All right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's always good to have like good information and
Yes.
good like thoughts about certain things.
And who
Let's
knows?
spread the love.
Let's spread the love, and who knows? We might be able to save a life here. So
That's
All right.
true.
All right.
All right. So again, this is Rian,
I'm James the Great.
And this is Zach,
and you're watching Forbidden
Forbidden
Talks.
Talks.
where we talk about things that people don't dare talk about.
See you soon. Bye.
All right, bye.